Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our debate. Today, we're going to be talking about a very familiar topic, which is school and education. So, the first question is: should students be allowed to pick their own subjects?
I personally believe that yes, they should be allowed to pick their own school subjects. So, the reason why I believe that students should be allowed to pick their own school subjects is because they would feel more motivated to study what they actually want to study instead of being stressed by having to study what they want to study and what they don't want to study.
Well, I think it's a bad idea because if we only take like the fun subjects, obviously we would. So who will be willing to study math? And also without math, no one could like build spaceships or like even like solve world hunger or like anything. Plus, we like children think that eating ice cream for dinner is a good idea, so maybe we shouldn't be in charge in our education. Question number two: is homework necessary or a waste of time?
I believe that homework is unnecessary because honestly, if the schools are gonna give the students quizzes and exams, then homework isn't really that necessary because the homework is just used to test the students' understanding, and the same goes with pop quizzes and tests. But what do you think?
Well, Ragad, I believe it is very necessary because homework helps you practice what you learned, and if you only learn things once, like in the morning, you'll forget them. It's called the forgetting curve. It is when you don't. It's like when our brains are really lazy, actually, and need repetition to remember things. Plus, homework reaches our time management. It's like a fancy way of saying that we should like not study the last minute.
I
Question.
understand your points, and I believe that it's extremely logical. But honestly, some students, they would practice and revise the previous lessons. But if students are gonna have pop quizzes every now and then, like almost twice or once a week, then the students at that point will have it in their schedule to practice and revise every single week. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that is right, but as I said, our brains are very lazy, so they need so many repetitions to remember things, and plus, so many people don't even care. That's why we have homework, because some people, as you said, we have pop quiz every week, or like even like more than once a week. So they always people like even children, even college students, they study at the last minute because they obviously if we don't have homework, why study? Anyways, the third question is: should school start later in the morning?
So I personally believe that school should start later in the morning because if school starts extremely early in the morning, then the students and mostly people, they'll have less motivation because some of them they just woke up, so they'll feel really tired and they'll want to go back to sleep. And if school starts later in the morning, then it gives other people way more time to prepare and to recheck their schedule, to repack their bags and stuff like that.
Well, I think no, we should not start school later in the morning because Sure, sleeping in sounds really nice, but that means school ends later too, which means we'll have a mountain of homework laying around as not like as we now have, but actually when it starts later means we have more time to study. But that's not the point. The point is that when we're gonna grow up, actually when we have jobs, jobs start very, very early in the morning because retired or adults even that don't have jobs actually like to go to places way early in the morning. So school is actually preparing us for real life, not nap time. Anyways, question number 4. Is learning from home better than going to school?
You see, I don't really believe that learning from home is actually the best idea for children because sure, it protects the children from bullies, but it doesn't give the child freedom or a proper social life. And for children to have a normal life, their social life needs to grow as well. Because if the children like they can only speak to their family because they don't have friends from school, then they won't know how to properly communicate with others.
I agree on that point. Social interaction is very important. But at home you can work at your own pace, learn stuff at your own pace because as you know some people learn faster than others while others take a little bit of time figuring out how to actually do it. And also take snack breaks whenever you want. So like people get more hungry than others. But avoid also the horror of group projects. Sometimes you have group work, and some people are not really good at socializing. And also, online learning gives you access to way more than just your teacher's knowledge. Have you ever heard of Google? That place has everything. Number 5. Should students have phones in class?
I think that yes, students should have their phones in class because some students, their parents might need to call them for like a family emergency. Like imagine, for example, your one of your siblings gets in like an accident and they're in the hospital. But the school is only informed of this later. Imagine the horrors of not being able to be with your loved ones while they're at their worst. And also, some students like they have the family emergencies, so they need their devices so that they could be able to reach their family.
Well, actually, in this point, the school cannot be informed later because if an accident happens, the school will be the first one to know. Even though it's your accident, your classmates will know about it and will tell the school. And the school, of course, will call your parents. But the most important thing is that imagine, for example, a math test where half the class is secretly watching TikTok or YouTube or even using ChatGPT. Do we think that learning is happening? No. Phones are a distraction. 1 second you're checking a text and the next you're deep into TikTok. So if you need to Google something, the teacher can do it. We can survive without our phones for a few hours. Now I'm gonna be saying my
Yeah, but
go.
like even in like some tests, the teachers can in fact take your devices and then return them after the test. And also, for example, like someone outside the school who's part of your your family, like a younger sibling who doesn't go in your school. For example, they were in like a car accident and your family rushed them to the hospital, but your school was told of this extremely late. That would be terrible not being able to be there for your younger sibling while they're in the hospital. Don't you think so?
But how will the school actually be informed later? Even if you had your phone with you, why would your parents call you instead of the school, for example? Like, let's say you had your phone, okay? And how was the school informed later if your parents were the ones who told the school about this accident? So even if you did have the phone, it's the same direction. It's a phone and it's a call. So the call will go through. It's not like a call is like a letter. It's going to take so much time to come in a package, for example. No. So you didn't have your phone. The school will be informed later because your parents would have informed them later. So either way, it's both a loss. Are you convinced?
Kinda. Because even if the school gets informed, the parent for I personally think that the parent's first instinct would be to call you instead of the teacher or the school. Because honestly, why would a school like need to know about the personal family affairs? Like if you had your device and your parents did allow you to take your device and they knew that you had your device, they would probably call you first and not the school because it's family business, not something that the school will have to be involved in. And if even if the parents called later, at least it would be more comforting to know that you were called before and like not the school because it's honestly quite uncomfortable that the school would know about some issues in your family like a car accident before you do.
So I get what you're saying that the school shouldn't be involved, but you're also forgetting the law. The law states, and also the ministry states, that if a health or like something related to the learning happens, it should like the school should be informed since it's one of their students, of course. Unless your little sister is under the age of going to school, they will not actually be involved. But either way, it's the same thing. It's both a loss, and of course, it's kind of better to have your device at night if it's possible. Either way, it's really a loss, as I said. So, actually, like, you have to think of the law and the ministry and also the school at the same time. So, yeah. Are you convinced
But
now?
what I'm thinking about right now is like, what if your sibling was outside of the school, like in some sort of daycare or in a completely different school, like in a kindergarten?
If it affects
That's the situation I'm talking about.
if it affects your learning, that knowing that you actually let that something happened to one of your family members, and well, of course you're gonna feel very sad, and like your learning will like kind of go down, as you know, if it's a serious accident. So the school are gonna know either way, and also it's a loss. Are you convinced?
Kinda.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a little summary of what we just said. School should prepare us for the future, but it needs to make sense. Homework helps and phones in class don't. But waking up too early, that just makes us zombies. Learning from home, that works. The best the best education is a mix of rules and flexibility, smart but not outdated. So, in conclusion, really, the only thing I'm gonna ask you is, do you think this debate changed your mind about how you saw all of these questions today?
The debate actually kinda did.
And that's why it's really important to think of other opinions, and also that not only one point of view is the correct one. Do you have a conclusion to say?
Not really, because you basically just explained uh, argument, so I don't think I really have a conclusion to say, since you just explained the whole debate.
So, who do you think won? Are you convinced about my explanation? I'll tell you what I thought of yours.
I personally think that it's a tie between both of us, because now that I'm starting to look more into your opinion, I'm starting to realize that some of your opinions are better, while some of my opinions are also better. So I honestly think that it's a win-win for both of us, because we saw a different perspective of someone else, and we changed our perspective.
That is extremely nice, and thank you for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next time with another debate. Bye.